Hi, everybody. Welcome again here at SpeakuP Monday on the couch. And we're on the couch tonight with a brother from Croatia, Ivan Roca. Ivan, welcome back again to SpeakuP Monday.
Thank you, Robert. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome, man. And for those of you who would have watched SpeakuP Monday on Monday, Ivan was one of the standouts in our panel. Remember, it's a Health Hub Bali special that we do on the first week of every month. SpeakuP Monday is every week, but we do the Health Hub Bali special collaboration, Tracy from Health Hub Bali, on the first Monday of every month. And we did one all about health. I mean, that was that went deep.
It was nice. Yeah, it was diverse people from the different types of different modalities talking about the same thing. It's always interesting.
Yeah, and you know what I'm going to really enjoy about tonight is obviously I think very highly of you already. You're a man from Croatia with a great sense of humor, a great voice. Love it, right? So tonight, we'll be talking about bioenergy. We'll be talking about the Bioqr system that you created and what is it, why is it good, why do we need it, and just generally about health, but. Before we start that particular section, I'm interested in you. Okay. So you're a man from Croatia. Tell us a little bit about how you found your way to do what you do now.
That's a very good question. I would say that I didn't find the way, but the way found me. It sounds philosophical, but it's actually not. I remember when I was a kid and when I was just developing, I always had this urge to help people, or I was always there to help people. I actually didn't go around and help people, but somehow I would always be put in a position when there was some kind of inequality, and then I would always step in because I simply felt it not right, and for me it was a natural thing to do. Also, I was always interested in biology, in natural sciences. My mother, she worked, now she's retired, she worked on the medical faculty of medicine in Zagreb. So I was exposed to all kind of science in a very, very early stage. And it was actually, it was interesting because I think science is just one way how we look at the reality. And for me, it was eye-opening. Every new chapter was just eye-opening. And of course, at one moment, I also studied science. I studied informatology, phonetics. After that, I studied film directing and editing. But I was actually doing all sorts of things in this period of development after the university. Actually, even during the university, I was studying during the war in Croatia, which was also huge, impactful experience for me. I was not in the war. I was not behind the gun. But I contributed with my work in the media to solve this war as soon as possible, because I think that the war is just the bad communication, nothing else. Yeah.
One of the things which I really like about you is that you have this way of speaking and communicating that's entertaining, but it's straight to the point, right? And it's very incisive and very, kind of like matter of fact, right? In other words, it's difficult sometimes for people not to speak when you know that they're already thinking from a certain direction, so they're biased to a certain way, whereas you just seem to be like, boom, straight in the middle, straight through. And so, you mentioned before about, always feeling that you were the guy, you were the adjudicator, you were the person that brought balance to imbalance, to brought equilibrium to a disequilibrium. You're the person to balance up the scales to right or wrong. Where did that come from, though? I mean, like you mentioned that your mom was in medicine, but growing up as a kid, like how was that instilled within you, do you think?
I don't know. I think that simply some people have this urge towards, let's call it righteousness, or what we call the balance. I always felt for people who were on the street without homes, the homeless people, I would always feel sadness. And but sometimes I would also see a homeless person, and I would not feel sadness. But okay, it could be just the presumption. But I would say that when it's real, when it's not fake, when somebody really needs help, I'm really there for these people. This is my nature. So where the human nature comes, I don't know. For sure, we inherit a lot of it from our parents, from their experience. Through the, of course, genetical material, but also there were coincidences in our lives that formed us that we even didn't invite in our life. It just happened. So I can say that I'm blessed, that the experiences I have shaped me in what I am today. I'm actually pretty satisfied with myself. It doesn't mean that we cannot go forward, that we cannot do more. Of course, we can and we should, because it's more interesting.
So look, I know that people tuning in would have seen you on Monday, and we spoke about Bioqr and Bioenergy and so on. So let's give them what they want. So yes, if you can explain to us, firstly, what do you mean by Bioenergy, and then what is this Bioqr? What does it mean?
Okay,
yeah.
This is I need few hours to explain this, but. Let me try to go a little bit around, and then I can come back to So I would say that so our body is maintaining our health through the maintenance of the homeostasis all the time, and there is a process inside of our body which is supported by the immune response, by the immunity, and also other physiological processing. It's super complex, but I will just try to make it very simple. Please. And this process is what essentially keeps us alive. Yeah. So if this response is broken just for a few seconds, you will immediately feel it. So our body needs perfect condition. The cell need a perfect condition to harvest the energy, transform, store the energy for its processing, right? So the immune system is capable to treat any disease. If you're healthy, it means that there is something inside of us that treats absolutely every disease. When this something, we can call it panacea. Panacea is a Greek word for the translation would be a cure for everything. Yeah. But actually, it's not really what people think. It's a cure that comes after you're sick. Actually, there is a cure in us for every disease before you become sick. Wow. So if this panacea is not present anymore, which means a weakened immune response, you get sick. And the sickness is essentially a loss of the function that can lead to dying. So the question is, how the immune system and why it help us to survive. I mean, the evolutionary, we are here for some unknown reasons, but biologically, our system must have this stable homeostasis. Immune system is behind it. When there is a breakup of this homeostatic environment, then the immune system repairs the tissue, regenerates it, and then put us back into the homeostasis, right? So the question is, why we get sick if we have this perfect system inside of us, which is actually doing all the healing for us? Mm-hmm. So the thing is that the immune system is also just a machinery, and machinery needs energy. And if the machinery don't get enough energy in a proper rhythm and in a proper time, then the immune system cannot do its job. And when there is a loss of the function of the tissue for a longer period of time, there is a threshold where the immune system simply cannot act anymore. And because there is a cascade of the misfortunes after you get sick, there is a pain, leads to sleepless nights that lowers the immune system, and then you have this magical circle. Yeah, and most of the time you even don't know that you're sick. Now everybody has a cancer cells floating in our bloodstream, but the immune system can find it, detect it, and destroy it, right? So it means it's active even with these severe conditions, right? If you get cut, you don't need a doctor. Your immune system will do it. It will seal the wound, and you will be healed, essentially. So the question is, what's happening when the immune system cannot act? How to help it? What to do? So the immune system is actually helping you all the time, but it doesn't have enough resources to treat the condition. So if we can fool the immune system, if we can trick the immune system and move the resources from one place to another place by tricking it, then the immune system will do so. So the immune system will be active only if there is a damage of the tissue. Immune system will not do anything if it's not challenged. So what I'm actually doing, what was of my interest, there are many methods how we can push the immunity to do something for us, from exercise to vaccination. It's all based on the very same fact that we have to damage the body a little bit, and this damage will promote the immune response. So if I can damage the body in a non-invasive way, which means that there is no lasting effect of the medical procedure, we call it non-invasive therapy, that can also lead to the immune response without any damage. And for me, this is super interesting. I think this is the future of medicine, and the original medicine was actually meant to go into that direction. So essentially, when we talk about the bioenergetics, we are talking about something that people like to call energy healing. So energy healing refers to the stimulation of the immune system with a very low quantity of the energy stimulation through the electromagnetic field. Very small quantities, which are very hard to measure and so on. So your body is producing electromagnetic fields as a response to the operation of the cell, and as a response to the action potentials which are propagating through the whole body all the time. We have the network of the bioelectricity in our body, which is regulating many functions, is also used as a memory. There are many functions behind it. We simply don't have time to go into it. But if I can modify this network, then I can change the biological response, also the immune response. So essentially, if my body can interact with your body through the energy field, which is tangible, which is measurable, we can see it through the different types of measurement tools. So it's real, it's not my imagination. We already use it in medicine, actually. So if I can use the body as a source of the radiation that can interact with your bioelectromagnetic network, then I can maybe trigger the immune response without even touching you. This is what's energy healing essentially.
Thank you. It's interesting because, when you hear something for a second time, maybe in a different way, it can land in a different way. And then, for those people watching, by the way, Ivan Roca, the creator, the founder of the Bioqr system that we're going to get into, but we're talking about bioenergy and so on, but this energy healing, as some people might refer to it or remember it or be able to put a frame in their mind to decide what it is. I've always wondered about it, right? Because I've seen it work. I've had it work on me, through Reiki and other modalities. But I think the thing which really allows us to stand up tall is that it's evidence-based.
Yes.
You can measure it.
You can measure it, yeah. You can measure bioelectrical activity of your body. I mean, when you go to doctor to check your heart characteristics, then you measure biomagnetic field, which is very weak. It's 10 on minus 6 Tesla. But we found a way to, to make this signal stronger, so that we can capture it and make a sense out of it, right? So we use it in medicine already. We are using ultrasound, for example, for treatments and for diagnostics. Yeah. We are using X-rays to target the cancer cells and also use it for diagnostics. So we use energetics or electromagnetic fields for treatments and for diagnostics already. The only thing that we don't use is the human-produced electromagnetic field. That's the only difference. And only because these fields were invisible, they're invisible for us. Yeah. We need equipment to see it. And also only because we are using the hand, which in the communicational sense, hand means to give or take something or to operate something, some kind of activity. In the past, people didn't know about electromagnetism. We know about it 200 years. So people were imagining what that could be. And it's fascinating because any idea that we can transfer anything from one place to another place without contact, but you will be surprised what I'm going to tell you after this is a miracle, right? But now we know there is electromagnetic field and we know that there is a transfer of the energy. Yes. It's just a physical fact. But guess what? All the human communication is wireless. Is that true? I mean, when I talk to you,
the air is pushing through.
Exactly.
Hitting my ear, transferred to my brain.
Exactly. So it's wireless. So it's already energy transfer. When I look at you, then you have a photons coming out of this lamp, out of this reflector, hitting your skin and bouncing off to my retina. So it's also electromagnetic communication.
You know, it's so interesting because I never thought of it in that way, you know, but then also, and I'm making a leap here, but, you know, the martial arts, you know, I used to do a lot of Tai Chi, and this, so with Tai Chi, that 1-inch punch that Bruce Lee used to make famous, you know, this sort of thing, we're talking about the same thing here, or?
Actually, no. This is when we talk about these biomechanical things, we are actually just using the interconnectedness of the from the small part of the body to the big part of the body. So if you know how to push in a proper direction, you can actually transfer the kinetic energy through the body in a little bit different way. Okay. Yeah. So this is purely mechanical. Here we are talking about the energy. You mentioned one very good thing, chi. We also have other synonyms. Prana in India. We have also in Europe pneuma or elan vitae. You have many. So what is the difference? We know about the term energy in physics since 1802. And after that, it took us like 50 years to accept that energy is what is energy today. And it's only because of the research of this property of the matter, right? Yes. But before that, which means only 220 years, there was no any idea what the energy is. So the chi, the prana, and all these terms, they don't refer to the energy in a modern sense. So the energy is energy. Actually, Jung took this term from Aristotle, who represented the first time in his book Physics and some others, where he called the activity energia. But it's not the same. It's not modern in a modern sense. So when we talk about the spirit, chi, prana, and all these terms, they're actually of a spiritual origin. And they actually mean, all these terms, they mean one unique thing. Spirit in Latin language means the breath. Chi means the breath, or the vapor from this invisible substance that is present. We cannot touch it, but it's there. Prana is the same, right? So it's a spiritual concept. Where it's coming from, this is at least I hypothesize about it in this manner. You know how the brain works. The brain needs explanation of the reality. When the brain is exposed to the phenomena, even if we don't know phenomena, the brain will create a narrative, just connect some dots and create the narrative so that the brain feels safe in this new environment with the new phenomena. The mythology is like this, the religions are like this, the animism is like this, and so on and so on. So can you imagine in the past when you have this phenomena that we call life, and we don't know what it is, but also we experience death. So you have a person who is alive, then you have a person who is not anymore with you. There is something missing. There is something that animated this person. So this anima, the soul, right, this is this invisible part of us, right? So the people referred to it in a sense of spirit, prana, and chi, just to make sense of what the life is. So we hypothesized in the past, thousands of years ago, that there is a matter which is infused by some kind of thing that we call chi or prana, spirit, so on, so that makes us alive. But guess what? Today, we know that the biological systems are alive due to the complexity of the system. Not because there is some special energy, because the energy, electrical current in your body is the same as electrical current in this camera. Right? But you're alive, but this is not alive. And what's the difference? The difference is that this complexity, how it's used, is quite different than electricity used in this camera. But it's the same potential. It's the same thing.
Wow. Man, as I said before, we interviewed Dr. Sveni, who was also there, on Monday. What I mentioned is that, this is maybe number 17, what actually did Dr. Dan. So this is maybe 20 medical or health-related interviews. And I learned so much. And I find it fascinating. I really do. And just then, making that connection of chi, prana, and so on, and then realizing that, the energy within me is the same as the energy within that camera. I'm alive in the sense that I'm here talking and so on. And this is maybe not in the same sense.
Yeah, this is that. I mean, for us, this is that because it doesn't fall into the category of what we call life in science. Yeah. But on the other hand, the matter in this camera and the matter that is building block of your body, if there is a carbon, there is a carbon. It's the same. There is no difference. But combination of the carbon and other elements, how they are, organized, it's different.
So then how does it work? Now this might be getting way too far, but hey, we're here, let's do it. So, if we, move down into our body under a microscope, under great magnification, it looks physical, I touch it, it feels physical, but then when I go in with great magnification, there's spaces, and there's dust, and there's spaces, and I go into that more and more and more, and eventually there's nothing there that I can see, yet there's protons, electrons, and so on.
It's
so
subatomic world.
Subatomic, yes. So how does the energy, is that created out of that kinetic activity on that level? Or?
Okay, I think that it's very hard to go into the quantum biology here. First of all, I don't know much about it, and to really say anything about the quantum level, quanta is the smallest package of energy that we can transfer from one place to another, you need mathematics. But what we know for sure, like an accepted theory in physics, is that there is no essentially matter. There is only the fields, which are omnipresent fields, and these fields can be excited. It's not maybe the proper word to say, but let's say these fields can be excited, and these excitations, when they are interacting, this is what we call the forces. Yeah, but all this is something that is only possible to understand if you know the mathematics and the path, how we get to that point. And I don't know that in details. I know that very, very, just the general information. But if you ask me how the energetics are working, you have to know very simple fact that our body will respond to absolutely any electromagnetic radiation by protecting itself. For example, tanning is a protection from the UV radiation. And also there is all kinds of electromagnetic radiation that is a product of the nature that our body is using. For example, geomagnetic field, which is a product of the Earth core, that is protecting us actually from dying, essentially. Without it, we will not be able to survive. But it's also supporting our body. And then there are all other fields that we actually don't know what they are doing. But we know one thing for sure. Our body is responding to all these fields.
It's in interviews like this, I know that we could go off, into the origins of God, right?
It's very wide subject. You can go because energy is at the core of all science. The physics is about energy and information, and of course you can put biological phenomena into this framework. Actually, biophysics just started to dig deep into this field. So we developed this quantum biology and all this, and we don't know much. But I think this is the future of the understanding how the biological systems work, maybe even how the consciousness work. I'm a proponent of the theory that it's really true that our brain is producing the consciousness and the mind, but on the other hand, I'm always aware that to produce the brain, you need the whole cosmos to do it. And so here, there we have a little bit of problem. I'm not sure that there is a consciousness without brains, because I don't know anybody without a brain who has a consciousness. So the brain participates in the maybe creation of the consciousness, or maybe just it's a hardware for the consciousness, I don't know. But without the brain, there is no consciousness. And that's very important. Why? Because we can measure the brain activity. We didn't come too far with that, but the only reason why we didn't come too far with understanding consciousness through the examination of the brain activity is because our sensors which are doing this are not developed yet. But we will get there. I think we will get there.
Now, look, on that note, have a sip of your coffee.
Thanks,
so we're here on the couch at Tropical Nomad. This is like a special one-on-one interview, care of Health Hub Bali. As you know, every Monday is SpeakuP Monday. Today is Thursday here in Bali, so it's a Monday, but it's SpeakuP Monday. And look, once a week we do it. But in the first week of every month, we have the Health Hub Bali special, and that's Tracy G, our very special collaboration partner. And look, Health Hub Bali, just to give you a quick sense and give this man time to drink more coffee. It's all good. So to catch his breath. So what it is, there's three aspects to it. The first aspect is that Tracy is on a call, I think once every month or so, with tens and tens and tens of some of the most eminent doctors, practitioners on the planet. So it's an information highway. Number one, it's dissemination of the latest information to do with how you can reclaim your own health. That's number one. Number two is that it's about linking and connecting you, the patient, through, let's call it a client, an individualized client journey. How do we get there? So imagine that you come into the network. It could be via a measurement device, for example, using latest thermography. So the way that this works is that you would come in, you'd have 120, like a pen, like a probe, non-invasive, on the upper part of your body. Now, the room will be cooled down. It would trigger your adrenals and other things in your body. The same thing happens again. Now, the difference in temperature gets fed into some software. Out of that comes a wonderful heat map view of your body, giving you an idea of what's happening in terms of, are there any potential weaknesses or any areas of your body of concern, which may not be right now, but in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they may become that. And from that point, that's where you're prescribed using health coaches, an individualized patient journey for you. And we're talking now about Bali, so the practitioner network in Bali. And then the final stage it's a certification stage, which is about ensuring that all of the practitioners which come on board the network and the platform are certified. And the final thing which I did miss is that, remember, it's functional medicine at the core. So what is actually causing your symptoms? And we go to that, right? So that's Health Hub Bali. And on Friday, which will be tomorrow, actually, you can find this wonderful man, Ivan Roca and Dr. Hasvini. Tomorrow they'll be there. That's in Pereira. So just go to the Instagram, Health Hub Bali, and you'll find all the details there. I think that one will be 10 to 12 or something from
10
memory.
to 12, yeah.
Yep, great. And that's where you can interact with wonderful people like this in the flesh. I'm touching him in the flesh, right? So you don't have to watch like this, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy anyway. And look, we're talking about bioenergy. We're talking about the body and his energy systems, which I've just been dealt another great lesson that I'm very thankful for. So look, the next question then, as we have this background of bioenergy and how it interacts with the body or creates consciousness using the brain, so the Bioqr system. So can you explain that to us?
Yes. Yeah. Just before I jump into that, please. I mentioned consciousness not in a relation to healing, because the body can heal even if you are in coma. And this is very important to understand that all of the body is working on a subconscious level. You don't have to believe that to be alive. You don't have to think to digest food. You don't have to think to walk. You don't have to do anything. The body is doing it for yourself, for you, right? Why? Because if the brain is involved in all these processes consciously, then we need a little bit bigger brain. If you need a bigger brain, then you need a bigger body to feed that brain, right? And then you need to eat whole day, and you don't have the same characteristic as you have now. And essentially, we tried that with dinosaurs. It didn't work. Okay, so what evolution prepared for us is a quite different story. But let's get back to bioenergetics. Bioenergy means very simple thing. Bios is in Greek language principle of life. Zoe means life, but bios means principle of life. And energy is in the modern sense, it's the potential, right? It's the capability to do the work. This is what it means in modern physics. So bioenergy is essentially just the energy that is produced, used, or transformed by the biological systems. That's all. So it's not some weird, crazy new dimension in physics. No, we don't break any physics. We just look at the human body from the purely physical or energetic point of view, what we know in the modern science. Okay, so what is the bioenergy therapy generally? I call it actually human bioenergy therapy, is for a very simple reason. As I mentioned before, many people are doing this from the supernatural and spiritual point of view. I think it makes no much sense, because I don't think so that we can be actually spiritually healed, because spirituality is experiential, and nobody can eat pizza for me, which means nobody can give me their own spirituality nor send spiritual energy. And in physics, there is no such thing. It's for sure that we can have guidance in a spiritual journey, although the best guidance is just to sit in silence every day as much as you want, or if you don't want to, you even don't have to, just to sit in the silence and observe what the hell is happening, and maybe silence will speak to you. If it doesn't speak now, maybe it will speak in the future. But the most important thing about this in spirituality, if you ask me, just don't be a jerk. Just don't be a jerk on a daily basis. That's spirituality. Everything else is entertainment, and it's cool because we need entertainment. Sometimes somebody likes to watch action movies. Somebody likes to enjoy the stories about the narrative about the peace and other worlds and so on. So let's get back to the bioenergetics. Bioenergy is real. We also know about it in the modern medicine and biology. We talk about it. Bioenergy, essentially, this transformation of energy in the body means the metabolism, which means that we create new molecules, or we cut the molecules into smaller parts. So we have anabolic, catabolic functioning, and this circle needs energy for its processing. This is the energy flow, right? So energy healing, in my sense, means that I'm using my electromagnetic field to create little changes inside of the body in a different kind of tissue with a different movements, because every movement will create different effect to fool the immune system. Essentially, to say the immune system, look, don't go there, why don't you just go there? And since I'm doing it for 4 days in a row, if you do it only once, it will not work. So you have to do it several times, repeat it, so that the body thinks, oh, this is something persistent, so I'm going to take care of it. So it's simply a trick. So it's not me sending you my good vibes and heal you, or balancing anything, because you are always in balance. If you're not in balance, that we call that death, essentially. You know? So you're always in balance, even if you are very sick. You know what I mean? It's just painful, but you're always in balance. So it's not. It's none of these concepts. It's actually a trick. And but I mean, what is vaccination? Vaccination is a trick. You introduce a toxin which is mixed with a little bit of attenuated virus, or with some debris from the bacteria, or some other material that you want to make alert for the immune system. And once you put the toxin inside of the body wants to send the defenses, produces the inflammation, and then at the same time finds elements which are not supposed to be there, which is attenuated virus, blah blah blah, whatever, pathogen, and then the body simply pick up that information because it thinks that caused the problem. And then picks up that information, store it, and create the defenses. Your body, your immune system is not just doing that. Your immune system is helping you to develop. Your immune system is helping you to clean the body, to sense the changes, possible danger changes, and also your immune system is helping you to rejuvenate, to regenerate body. All of the healing is just the regeneration of the tissue. So if you can regenerate the tissue, you just heal the problem, right? So essentially, your evolutionary, some people will have a good immune response, some people will have a little bit lower immune response. Some people will live in a certain way that will compromise the immunity and you can get sick. Some people will work on themselves, they will never get sick. It's diverse. There is no one rule, there is no one way how to be healthy. But generally, if you get sick, this is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to repair the damage, and everything else is really choice of a person who comes for help, which means I don't interfere with the people's lives, because I believe that everybody knows exactly what they need to do. They just need to be empowered. And also I think it's not important that my job actually finishes when I push the immune system to treat the person. The rest is really not of my concern. So this part I do. There are other therapists who are doing other things where you need to educate the person. You need to introduce maybe new diet, maybe new exercise. There are many things that you can to do to nourish the person, right? But there is another thing. all these things that we hear on the podcast, how to stay healthy. Did you notice one thing? That this is for people who have a lots of time in their life. You know what I mean? I will not name, but the people are saying, oh, you wake up in the morning, then you do the juicing. After this, you do the red light. And after that, you do the 45 cardio. Then you go a little bit to office. After the office, you do the sun. And I'm thinking, who the hell can do this? Like 5% of the people. So this is actually very insightful. It's very useful. But when it gets to the medicinal usage of any of these methodologies, it must be useful in a sense of a public health, which means that every single person can enjoy these benefits of nourishment of the body. And so how to do that has nothing to do with the medical science. This has to do something with the politics, because the system we live, the capitalism we created, which worked, now it doesn't work anymore. It's obvious that it's changing all the time. How does all the society works? These different layers of the society, and what we actually want for people to do or to be is where the sickness is lurking, behind. This is for me, it's so obvious, because I can be, a very cool healer and sit in the airplane, and from the airplane go to one island to another and tell this story. But there is thousands of people who help me to sit on that airplane, to go somewhere and to do my job. So I have to respect every single person who helped me to do my, teachings or treatments, whatever. And I think that I choose so that all these people work for me. And I know what they are doing for me. This is why I really value nursing doctors in the general hospitals. It's the job they are doing. I cannot do this. I'm not capable to do this. You know what? I have different mind, different aspirations towards life, and so on. So I'm really grateful for everything they are doing. Which means if I choose to live this way, and if I am blessed and given a chance to do something with that, I have to give it back to the society somehow. And this is one part that I think we all should introduce. Whoever is in the health field, it's cool that we know everything how to get healthy if you have a lots of time. But let's make methods and let's support the society to move all together to the new stage of living, of the how to say. Politics are the way how we are going to share life together. That's it. So, into the direction of the completely new political systems and economical systems. And we have a tech to do so. And why not do it? Why not using it? So, what I want to share with you is that what I'm doing, anybody can do, anybody can learn, and they have it in their pocket. So, essentially, you have the medicine, some kind of medicine. It's not almighty medicine. It's also a process. It's objective. Sometimes you cannot do anything. Sometimes you have miraculous recovery. You cannot control that. But since you have it in the pocket, why not teach people that you can do it at home? So you essentially can empower people to do it at home. And for us, that this could become a reality, we have to start to understand this kind of method and all other non-invasive treatments from the secular perspective, not from pseudo-scientific or quasi-spiritual perspective, because it's 21st century, nobody's interested in that anymore. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong. I respect every single modality, but I want to ask all the therapists who are doing any kind of non-invasive treatment to go back to their practice and try to look what they are actually doing from the first principle and try to understand the science of it and the mechanism of it. Only that way we can put it into the modern framework. Only that way we can deliver what we do and give it to the scientists to understand it properly. And only in that manner we can, if we know the mechanism, we can actually improve it. Because I know very little, actually. You know what I mean? I know for sure that we can make much better methodology if we know more how these things works. So one of my tasks is to educate people about what we really have in the non-invasive world, and because it's super powerful. For example, meditation is super powerful. And there are many different types of meditation. There are many different approaches. I'm interested in the clinical approach, which means how to use meditation for the Alzheimer's, how to use meditation for the PTSD, how to use the meditation for the other conditions, right? And for that you need to do the research. But the establishment will never be interested if we are doing it as a woo-woo science. You know what I mean? So let's be honest, just honest.
You know, again, the things that I really enjoy about you is that you do have this very collective, inclusive mindset that it takes all of us and we're all somehow contributing to each other. And when we wake up to that, we used to call that unity consciousness, right?
Yes.
But when you wake up to that, then things can really move on a macro level, not micro.
Yes.
And so, I mean, unpacking a little bit about what you said. So you mentioned that anyone can learn this. You know, I mean, like, how do you teach people to start?
It's very simple. This is just a technology. Yeah. The hard part, to wave around the people and put the hands with the tension and relaxation, I can explain what's the difference and why. Because there is a way how you direct energy. It's not by the mind. Mind cannot direct energy. The body is doing it. So, how to say, to teach people this, you essentially explain the mechanism. And after that, you show it, how you can demonstrate how it works in a mechanical way. So you can show the bioelectrical signaling. You can show, how the metabolism changes when you do this or that. And the hard part is to learn the medical science. You don't have to finish the medical school, but let's say physiotherapists and the nursing level is very much suitable for this kind of education, because you have to know anatomy, you have to know pathology, pathophysiology. These things it's good to know, because what I'm doing relies exclusively on the medical science, which means I don't do any kind of sensing or trying to understand what's your problem. I just take the medical diagnosis and apply the procedure. So to deliver the knowledge to somebody, it's purely intellectual. You can learn it by practicing, understanding, testing, and once you understand the system, because system is purely logical, then you can apply it to absolutely any disease.
We mentioned on Monday about and I remember many things, but one of them was that, which I appreciated, because quite often, depending on our view, we can have this this view of a hospital, this view of medical tourism is X, Y, and Z. I don't want to borrow it. I am natural. I am wellness. I am out of that system, right? And then obviously, we're talking about integrative models and so on, right? And one thing that you said that kind of hung with me as well was that, hey, I work with hospitals. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So can you just let people know how the area works? Yeah.
Yeah. So since I'm not doing any kind of diagnostics, because I think that subjective diagnostics can be dangerous and inaccurate, and it's not aligned with the modern science, I just use the diagnostic that is coming from the medical practitioners. So I don't treat anybody who didn't visit a doctor. I mean, if you don't visit the doctor, it means that you are not really sick. So anybody who has a problem, they will go to doctor. And I strongly suggest everybody to go to doctor. And although we know that some things are damaging, doesn't matter. Because once you visit a good doctor, of course there are also bad doctors, but that's another story. So if you visit a good doctor, he will tell you to take this or that drug or do this or that procedure, from surgery to radiation, whatever, doesn't matter. This all works, and that will stabilize you. That will give you a chance, a longer period of time, to do all other stuff. Yeah. So actually combining the allopathic medicine, which saves you, and with all other stuff, non-invasive therapies, herbal medicine, exercises, relaxation methods, all kind of things in a clever way, then you will have the best results. And the modern hospitals, they start to realize that for example, pharmacological application actually has a better result if you do also some other stuff. But if you do only other stuff and you have severe condition, you will die. You know what I mean? Modern medicine is really so amazingly advanced, but people just don't like to look at it. I suggest to everyone who have anything to say against the hospital to go just one night in the trauma with the nurses there, just to spend one night. After that, you will never say anything against it. Of course, that there's sometimes doctors make a mistake, but can you imagine being there for 3 sleepless nights? Of course, you will make a mistake. So to help that, become a doctor. Don't break how the system is bad, right? And so you mentioned one thing about having integrative methods, and then you have allopathic medicine separated. Yes, at the moment they're separated, but more and more we see a direction where these two things will actually become one thing. We will just call it. We will have department which will take care of the human body and the mind in one way, and then you will have a department which will just take over and do it in a little bit different way. And of course, through time, the medicine will be more advanced. The holistic treatments will become more advanced, and at one moment they will become one.
Got it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about application. So now people watching, give you another chance to get a coffee in you. So basically we're here with Ivan Roca, who is, the founder of this Bioqr system that we've been talking about.
Our company is called Biotherapy Asia.
Thank you. Biotherapy Asia.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So Biotherapy Asia. Yes. And look, one of the things that we've been talking about is how, Ivan and the method works with medical tourism. Right, it works with it, and he's a very strong, ardent supporter of the current system, right, the current medical system, and that we have this closening between integrative and allopathic medicine beginning to come together.
Yes. To
be one, right? Yes. Which is fantastic. So look, then my question to you, we're here in Bali, Indonesia, a place that we love very much, and taking perhaps a viewpoint over the globe or over the places that because again you're in other parts of Asia. Yeah. Like, what do you see in context to this closing of the gap between the two? So which countries do you think are further down the road? Which countries do you think maybe need a bit of a tap on the shoulder?
I would say that the only way to get to the point where there is going to be a global recognition of the non-invasive treatments that happened with physiotherapy is the scientific research in this field. But for us to push that is actually to prove to the governments that our treatments can save them cash. And this is very important. I don't say that everything is about the cash, but we use now money for the exchange of the resources. It's just information about the resources, right? So I would say that if we can prove, and it's a scientific work, that our treatments can actually not just save the lives on some, but on a larger scale, save money, which means also improve the status of a worker, let's call it a worker, in population, then of course you will have attention of people who don't know anything about medicine, but they are going to love it because you save the cash. So this is very important thing, that to be reasonable, that we live in a system as we live, and that there will not be big revolutions and the changes without new tech and the science. But for all this to happen, we have to stop to put these things into the quasi-spiritual and pseudo-scientific framework. We have to put it into the secular way in front of us and say, okay, this is what we do. We have anecdotal results, although there are some clinical trials, but they are not of too good quality. We have anecdotal results, and I'm not talking about 5 people, I'm talking about 20,000 people. So this is not anymore an anecdote. It's a hypothesis. So guys, can you please give us the cash? We want to check it. We want to know exactly what we are doing so that we can improve it. From this research, we can actually create patents. And these patents can be behind completely new modern, science fiction technology. Because as I can recall, the modern medicine was always just looking and spying on nature, literally spying on nature and picking up the secrets and put it into the work in a modern way. So what we are doing is just the natural phenomena. So why not having the same attention? Huh? plants have more attention than humans in that sense. Huh? Yeah.
Maybe I should have asked this question before, but it's coming up now. So maybe by now people have been watching for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes or so, and they say, okay, so I get that it's evidence-based. I get that I can see it, I can prove it, I can see it, I can touch it, right? Science is behind this. It's not woo-woo. It's science, right? Which is beautiful for a human being's mind.
Yes, I think so.
that can see things a different way. That's great. So can you give me, a few examples of, the examples of your work? So someone came to you with X, they had some treatments, and now they're able to do Y.
What do you mean?
So just
like examples of the treatment.
Example of the treatment.
Okay, it's very hard to pick up something specific, and I don't want to create opinion that this particular condition we can treat better than others. But okay, for example, I had a very unusual cases where people had a complete recovery from incurable diseases, and this is when you are caught up with like what the hell happened, because you don't expect this. Because I approach the work objectively, right? And I know that if I do just a little bit, if I improve the biomarkers just a little bit, I did a great job. You know what I mean? Less medication, less pain, so on, so on. But in many cases, you can have a complete recovery. For example, I will never forget, we actually have a testimonial, a lupus. I did only one cycle for 4 sessions in a row, right? In 15 days, this lady went through the horrible, let's call it healing crisis. This is actually just the immune system at work. And she literally wake up one morning without lupus. She tested the markers, no lupus. After a year, because sometimes lupus can disappear as a natural progress of a disease and then reappear. After a year, nothing. It's all the same. There is no lupus. And, this is not the only case. We have many cases like this. Or, for example, I don't know, cysts. Cysts are routinely. We do it literally routinely. They just disappear after the treatment. The infertility problems. The couples who tried absolutely everything, and I mean, you even don't have to do any research there. They got the children, and it's you know what I mean. And it's a great number of people. So I would say that if any common clinical case that you can find like in a daily clinical practice, I treat it. I also treated some diseases where you have only 300 people with this particular autoimmune condition. I also treated people who have there is only 5 people in the whole world who had this particular condition. So I was in contact with very unusual systemic conditions, autoimmune diseases, neuromuscular diseases. Like, I think that I touched everything that you can find in the hospitals and a little bit beyond. Of course, there is always more. You cannot know everything. There is hundreds of conditions. So sometimes people come with some weird condition and never heard of it, right? But since this methodology is purely logical, I just see what are the symptoms, what is its name, is it autoimmune or is it something else? And then I just apply procedure that is simply suitable for this particular case. And as I said before, this is objective work. I don't rely on the experience of a patient. So sometimes people come and they said, I want to test it. I said, but there is nothing to test because this is a medical treatment. Do you go to the heart surgeon and ask him, can I test? You don't do that, right? You will never do that. So this is you understand, there is nothing to test. This is a therapy and it has its result, which must be tested by the biomedical diagnostics, right? So I do the treatment, people do another diagnostics, they come back, it's on the paper, we go through it together. I ask what the doctor said, okay, let's do one more. They come back after 3 months, it's much better, you don't have to come anymore. This is the process, this is how it works. So I cooperate sometimes directly with the medical establishment, sometimes over the patient. It depends if the doctor is open or close, older or younger. It depends. Also, when we talk about treating the people, some people they come with complete disbelief. They think I'm a complete quake. I'm talking complete nonsense. Why not? I mean, this methodology is strange. No, it's we don't have this idea that human-to-human interaction can do anything. You know, even the science thinks like human to human there is no any physical interaction, which is if that is true, that will break all the laws of physics. You know what I mean? So it's a counterintuitive essentially. So what I want to say is that sometimes people come and they don't believe, but belief will do nothing. You know, belief is just how to say it will not stop the physical processes. No. You know, so these people also have a result, and these are my best patients. And even then, they will say after 15 years of trouble, they come to me, I do the therapy, the heart disease is much better, then I have to take medication. They would say, no, this is just placebo. And I said, yes, it's just a placebo. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Because if it's a real placebo, then it will happen before, right? And then, you know, you have all sorts of cases, all sorts of ideas. But for me, because at the beginning you said, I want to know more about you and why you are doing it. Do you know why I'm doing it? I love the process. Yeah. It's like an investigative biological process, psychological communication is involved. I just love all of it. And it's rooted in reality. You know, people have a result which improves their lives. I will never forget a family that came, their father had a cancer. And they operated, it was a colon cancer. And then I did the treatments, post-operative treatments. It lasted maybe 3-4 months. And then one moment I suggested, because they were like a conservative family, they didn't know much about the food. I said, look guys, you know that the colon is directly exposed to all sorts of toxins because of the food we eat. Every food is toxic because the body just needs a little bit of substances. The rest is just undigestible part and just want to get rid of it, right? So there was something problematic with this food, right? So why don't you change it a little bit? And I give them some suggestions, just a little bit. I'm not nutritionist, so I don't know the details, but the basics I know. They visited the nutritionist, they changed it. And after, let's say, 1.5 years, because I say you don't have to come anymore. After, let's say, 1.5 years, there is a group of people coming, like the whole family. I didn't recognize them. So to support their father, they all changed the diet in support of him. And they are all fit, looking good, you know, amazing. So you understand, you can change people's life for good without any interference. Just a little suggestion that, you know, maybe this could be helpful. No push, no, how to say, income on that. You know what I mean? But this is such a gift to see this change in these people. This is the gift. So this is why I'm doing it.
Man, I love that. Look, we're coming towards the end as I look at my watch. So I'm going to do something, but first I want you to think about something and then answer later. So the final question is, you know, and I'll give you a few minutes after I finish asking the question. Please. Is you know, is there anything, you know, left that you want to leave people with? Or maybe it's reiterating something you've said already, or maybe it's something new. You're like, you know what? I really do want to mention that thing. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm going to give you a moment in about a minute or so. Right? So just think of what that is. So for everybody here watching, so you are watching a SpeakuP Monday special here on behalf of Health Hub Bali and Tracy. So you would know that on Monday, and we had a great episode, a great panel discussion. You know, the future of health. That was number 15 in our series, but we've done maybe 4 or 5, I think 6 of these kind of side interviews, side Q&As, where we go deeper with certain individuals that maybe are flown into the country and are not here for too long, right? And so you've been watching Ivan Roca. If you just tuned in, Bioenergy, energy healing on a whole different level that's evidence-based, non-invasive. It's phenomenal. So just rewind. If you're on Instagram Live, rewind it. If you're on Facebook Live, rewind it. If you're on something else, YouTube Live, there you go. Rewind that too, because it's phenomenal information. Ivan Roca is from Croatia, in case you're wondering where he's from. So tomorrow, again, this is time sensitive. There's a Health Hub Bali market, and that's at 10 a.m. to midday to 12, 2 hours. And you can find that Health Hub Bali on Instagram is probably the best way to find it. And you can talk to incredible people like this in the flesh, Q&A with them live direct, learn, pick up some of this incredible knowledge that we've captured, today on this session. And so, all that leaves me to do is that we're back on Monday, as you know. Every Monday, we're up to this one, I think will be 374. That will be the episode number, which will be Natalie Benacek doing a wonderful women's panel. But just before we go back to Ivan, I just want to thank all the Tropical Nomad crew. We're here on the couch, right, at Tropical Nomad in the podcast room. That's why we have coffee and water and a croissant that I haven't started yet. So we have, in no particular order, Sister Ayu. We have, thank you, Sister. We have Brother Guzman. Thank you, my brother. And then Brother Hadis. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Robert.
Yes, and look, Ivan, mate, we only just met on Monday, but I feel like you're a brother already.
True.
Like we have. There's a good energy here, right?
It is, yeah. I really enjoy being here.
Flowing, people. so look, I just want to thank you, mate. It's been phenomenal. And look, so that last question, we'll hear your answer, and then we'll wrap up afterwards.
Whew. How much time do I have? 1 minute? 5 minutes?
Yeah, you can take.
I'm joking.
You can take us.
Okay.
Ivan, you know what?
I'm joking.
Ivan can speak, and I love hearing to him. How good is he to listen to? I'm like, if I had a pen, I'd be taking notes, copious notes,
we will have more time.
Oh, beautiful, wonderful experience.
I would say, from the practice, something that is practical. If you are a patient, if you have a certain condition, yes, go to doctor, listen to what doctor is telling you, do always the second opinion if it's something that, maybe things can go wrong because some treatments are very invasive. Always ask for the second opinion and educate yourself. Educate yourself. Read. Now we have internet library. Internet is nothing but the library. For me. You have all the knowledge there. Educate yourself. Communicate with the community on the forums and the Facebook groups and so on, where you can get very precise information and experiences from other people, and then make a decision. Also, if you are doing any other kind of treatment, always look at the price of that treatment. It shouldn't be expensive. That's very important. And also, if the therapist is asking you not to do the medical treatment or assessment, or if they want to interfere with the medical procedures, do not do it. Because it's unsafe. I think it's important to say because I lost many patients who behave like that. So if you have a cancer, first stage, breast cancer, do the surgery. That works, and then come later to us. It's too late. Fourth stage is very hard to treat. It's very hard. So why not using something that maybe sounds hard to swallow? That medicine works. So just use it. Why not? Use the best of what medicine offers and combine it in a clever, educated way. Also, yes, spirituality is a beautiful thing. We are all wired for the religions. That's all cool. But spirituality has nothing to do with the healing. So you can have your beliefs. You can believe that this and that will help you, but do not do only that. Do the medical treatments, do the holistic treatments, and do everything else. Not just that. Because I also lost many patients because of this kind of behavior. Our choice is always good because it's my choice, right? But some of these choices are actually can be questionable. That's why educate yourself, and through that education, you will 100% have a better result. In regard of the maintenance of the health, right? There are only a few things. First is good sleep. Then you have to challenge your body because your immune system must be challenged and awakened, which means exercise. And it doesn't have to be any special, expensive exercise. It can be basketball, I like a basketball, football, swimming, ping pong, tennis, whatever. Just do it. Walking every day, this is amazing thing to do. In regard of the food, I must say one thing very clearly. It doesn't matter what food you eat. It matters can you metabolize it. And just eat the food in a proper way that is clean, more or less. Today it's very hard to find anything clean. And, don't indulge yourself in too much sugar and all this stuff that we know it's not good. It's just the common sense, right? And take time for yourself. And I just want to say one thing, and that is maybe not something that people want to hear, but okay, I'll say it. Health is not the most important thing in life. Why? I know many people who sacrificed their health to create amazing art, to do the amazing research, to go to the places where nobody else can go. You know what I mean? If we put the health as our priority, none of these things would happen. Can you imagine all these crazy heroes and these crazy characters in the movies and in the novels and in the fiction, if they were all healthy people, straight to the point? We will never have not just fun. We will never learn this side of human psyche and nature, which is interesting, right? So I would say that health is a choice, and I respect everyone's choice. Doesn't matter is it good or bad, right? But if somebody asks for help, I'm here. Otherwise, I strongly suggest just live your life. Life is short, and it's very interesting, and try to do the best you can. Don't try to chase to be the best, because we are all different. Don't chase your dreams, because dreams are you wake up one day, right? So and the third thing is that just don't be a jerk in life.
I love it. I love the last one. Just don't be a jerk in life.
A jerk,
I love that. So everybody, Ivan Roca, Biotherapy Asia. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, man. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll wrap it there. Good night.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.